after an underwhelming showcase from Xbox the day before, Gamescom Opening Night Live delivered an entertaining showcase that still wasn't without its faults. I'll give my full thoughts on the showcase at the end of this video, but right now we have about 40 games to discuss, so let's get right into it. The show opened up with the reveal of a brand new Saints Row game. I really like Saints Row, so this was definitely one of the most interesting announcements of the night for me. This new game is a full reboot for the Saints Row franchise, featuring new characters and gangs, and a brand new city to explore and wreak havoc throughout. The new setting is Santo Leso, a fictional, crime-riddled city in America's southwest. While a lot of aspects of Saints Row have changed with this reboot, one thing that remains the same is the developer, as this reboot is still being developed by Volition, the team behind all the prior Saints Row games. Before we moved on, we also got a very brief glimpse at the gameplay, and I've got to say, I think it looks great. I was surprised to see that this trailer has been met with a polarised reception, with some players worried that this game has lost the essence of what made Saints Row special. I personally really liked this trailer. It still looks over the top and features the crazy action Saints Row is known for, but it looks like it's been toned back down to the level of ridiculousness found in Saints Row 2 and 3. Which I was glad to see, because I think the series peaked with Saints Row 3 and proceeded to jump the shark a little with Saints Row 4 and Gat Out of Hell. I was also stoked to see Saints Row given a release date of the 25th of February. It's always nice when a game is revealed so close to a release. While I'm definitely intrigued by this reboot, we've of course only seen very little of the game, and I'll reserve any real judgment until I get my hands on it for myself. The second reveal of the night was maybe the most exciting part of the entire showcase for me. Marvel's Midnight Suns is a new tactical RPG from Firaxis, the team behind the XCOM games. Rumours about this game have been swirling for months, so it's great to see it finally revealed officially. Midnight Suns was revealed with a really well made CGI trailer, with its superhero action being cut to Alicia Cara's cover of Metallica's Enter Sandman. The first thing that struck me about Midnight Suns was its interesting and diverse lineup of characters. The cast is made up of fan favourites like Iron Man, Doctor Strange and Wolverine, alongside characters like Magic and the Robbie Reyes version of Ghost Rider, who don't necessarily always get the love they deserve, as they aren't as well known or popular with the mainstream audience. Following this trailer, we did get an interview with one of Midnight Suns' developers that provided a few more tidbits of information. We know we'll be playing as a new, fully customizable hero simply called the Hunter. As the Hunter, you'll forge bonds with the other heroes and assemble a team to take into battle. What makes Midnight Suns so exciting is that we don't usually see superhero games in this genre. Nearly every superhero game is some kind of third-person action game, so it's great to see the Marvel license applied to something so different. After its reveal the week before, we got our first look at the campaign for Call of Duty Vanguard at Opening Night Live. This gameplay showcase featured all of the action set pieces and fast-paced gunplay that we've come to expect from Call of Duty, and it took place from the perspective of one of Vanguard's playable characters, Polina Petrova, who's voiced by Laura Bailey, who you probably know as Abby from The Last of Us Part 2 or Kate from Gears of War 4 and 5. There were really three things that stood out to me in this demo. The first was that Vanguard seems to offer more verticality and traversal opportunities than any Call of Duty game before it, with Polina regularly scaling walls to navigate the environment and get the drop on enemies. The second thing was the music, which sounds incredible, which should come as no surprise as the score for Vanguard is being handled by Bear McCreary, who composed the music for the 2018 God of War, as well as the theme song for The Walking Dead. And the third thing that I was very impressed by was Vanguard's visuals. This is a beautiful looking game with richly detailed environments and phenomenal lighting and particle effects. Vanguard's campaign, zombies mode and multiplayer that's going to launch with 20 maps are set to make it one of the most content-rich Call of Duty games, which is saying something because Call of Duty games usually offer a lot of bang for your buck. Next up, we got a new trailer for Halo Infinite's first multiplayer season, as well as the confirmation of a December 8th launch date. It's nice to finally have a date for Infinite, seeing as it's been listed as Holiday 2021 for about a year. The inclusion of Halo here also partially explains why Xbox's Gamescom show was so lackluster. This CGI trailer was interesting because it looked so different to anything we've seen for Infinite so far, thanks to it being set on Earth. This trailer focused on a new character, Commander Agrena, whose story, along with your Spartans, will continue across multiple multiplayer seasons. While I'm more excited for the campaign of Infinite than the multiplayer component, I'm definitely still looking forward to giving multiplayer a shot, especially after the recent flight test, because while I wasn't able to check out the multiplayer for myself, I heard nothing but good things from everyone who played it. After the news about Halo Infinite, we got a couple more Halo surprises, in the form of Halo-themed hardware to celebrate the series' 20th anniversary. First up was a new Elite Series 2 controller made to mirror Master Chief's armour, and I've got to say, this is a damn good looking controller. Next up was the Halo-themed Xbox Series X, which unsurprisingly sold out immediately. I've got to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of these custom consoles. I think they nearly always look over-designed, and worse than the more sleek design of the base models. But if you're a Halo fan, this could be a cool collector's piece. Cult of the Lamb is an awesome and deranged looking new indie game, so of course it's being published by Devolver Digital. Cult of the Lamb has an almost Binding of Isaac meets Don't Starve feel to it, with its gameplay combining isometric hack and slash action with town building elements. Cult of the Lamb also has a very unique look to it, as it takes cutesy looking characters and then adds a very dark and sinister twist to them. Also, I've got to give a shout out to the fact that one of Massive Monster's offices is in Australia. It's always cool to see Australian teams making great looking games, as we don't have enough studios here in Australia. One of the highlights of Xbox's Gamescom showcase for me was the very brief look we got at Midnight Fight Express, as part of a montage of Humble games coming to Game Pass. And at Opening Night Live, we got a new look at this fantastic looking brawler. Midnight Fight Express immediately stands out thanks to its stylish visuals and sleek looking combat mechanics that see the protagonist seamlessly transitioning between hand-to-hand martial arts and weapon-based combat. But the most impressive part of Midnight Fight Express is that it's being developed by one person. This is a game that wasn't even on my radar until last week, but now it's quickly become one of my most anticipated indie games. Speaking of my most anticipated games, next up we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. At Opening Night Live, we learned that April O'Neil will be joining the four turtles as a playable character in Shredder's Revenge. April uses all the equipment she has as a reporter in battle, battering her enemies with her microphone and camera. Unfortunately, this news did come alongside the announcement that Shredder's Revenge has been delayed to 2022. And while that's a shame, I'm happy to wait, as Tribute Games should take all the time they need on this one. I think Shredder's Revenge looks amazing. Its gameplay looks satisfying, and it has some of the most gorgeous pixel art I've ever seen, so I think this has the potential to be something very special. Next up, we got a new look at Demon Slayer The Hinokami Chronicles, which we recently saw in the last State of Play. This trailer showed off a new boss fight which sees protagonist Tanjiro squaring off against the spider demon Rui. This trailer really showed just how well the Hinokami Chronicles nails the visual style of the Demon Slayer anime. The Demon Slayer series is ripe for a good game, and I'd honestly be shocked if this game was anything less than very good. Because CyberConnect 2 have a great track record when it comes to anime games, with not only last year's Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, but also the Naruto Ultimate Ninja series, which I have a particular soft spot for. A new trailer for Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania showed off more of the game's addictive score-chasing single-player and fun multiplayer minigames. But most importantly, it confirmed yet another guest character joining the roster in this collection. We already knew that Sonic and Tails, Kiryu from Yakuza, and Beat from Jet Set Radio would be playable in Banana Mania, but now we know they'll also be joined by Morgana from Persona 5. Morgana feels like a perfect guest character for this game, and as a huge Persona fanboy, I'd be lying if I said I didn't cheer when I saw Morgana pop up. These games are so damn good, and I'm so glad that they'll no longer be stranded on old hardware come October. I'm not usually much of a competitive multiplayer guy, but something about Splitgate really drew me in. I fell in love with it immediately, and I've been addicted to it since launch. If you've yet to play Splitgate, it's a game with ingenious design that blends the formula of traditional arena shooters with portal mechanics. And at Opening Night Live, we got our first look at Splitgate's first in-game season, and the best news of all is that it's available right now. Among the new additions to Splitgate in Season 0 are the game's first battle pass, a new map, and a brand new mode, Contamination, a match type in the vein of the infection modes found in games like Halo and COD. Ubisoft's first showing of the night came in the form of a new trailer for Riders Republic. This trailer showcased all the extreme sports action that we'd expect from Riders Republic. While this was a fine trailer, it also didn't feel like it really showed us anything that we haven't seen countless times before in Riders Republic trailers. Don't get me wrong, I'm certainly looking forward to Riders Republic. I have very fond memories of all the PS2 era extreme sports games, especially things like Pro Skater and SSX, and I really think this game has the potential to recapture some of the magic of those games. But I don't really feel like I needed to see any more of Riders Republic at this point. The one exciting piece of news we did get after this trailer was that Riders Republic's beta was opened up for everybody during Opening Night Live. Next, we got a new look at Century Age of Ashes, the free-to-play dragon battling multiplayer game that was first revealed at last year's Game Awards. While the free-to-play multiplayer space is pretty crowded, I feel like Century actually has the potential to find an audience, because there's honestly nothing else quite like it, and it's undeniably pretty eye-catching. UFL is a new free-to-play soccer game that's touting itself as free-to-play and fair-to-play, which presumably means it'll avoid any of the pay-to-win nonsense that plagues many free-to-play games. It's interesting to see a new player step in to take a crack at making a soccer game, because for years the genre has been dominated by FIFA and Pro Evolution Soccer, with no one else attempting to break in. Whether or not UFL can pull any players away from those games is likely going to come down to the quality of the game, but if this game is good, it could shake up the market a little, and it has the potential to be a threat to Pro Evolution Soccer especially, as Konami are making the bold move of making PES free-to-play going forward, so UFL is now going to be its direct competition. After over a year, we finally got a new look at LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, along with the news that the game has slipped from its release window of holiday this year to early 2022. With all the delays this game has faced, it's clear that Traveller's Tales are a team that have been hit pretty hard by the pandemic. LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga lets you play through the stories of all 9 mainline Star Wars movies, and the gameplay we've seen makes it seem like it's going to be the most ambitious LEGO game yet. I love Star Wars, and the LEGO games never fail to provide a good time, so this is definitely one of the games I'm most excited for in 2022. Synced Off Planet is a new PC shooter that's coming out next year. Unfortunately, I can't help but feel like the publisher behind this game really dropped the ball with this trailer. While Synced seems like it has a cool sci-fi world, this CGI trailer did a pretty poor job of explaining what the game even is. This trailer then ended by advertising that there'd be a stream a couple of days later showing gameplay. This kind of trailer doesn't make me want to go watch that stream, which probably means I'm just going to forget that this game even exists. When you have a spot in Opening Night Live and all eyes are on you, you should take advantage of that, even if they only showed a small amount of gameplay in the trailer to pique the audience's attention and make them want to go watch the gameplay stream. I really feel like this kind of CGI trailer only works if it's a trailer for an established IP or a game from a known studio, so that we have some kind of idea what to expect. A new gameplay trailer for the Outlast Trials, the third game in the Outlast series, was shown next. The Outlast Trials is a prequel to the prior Outlast games that takes place during the Cold War, and it's set to be a drastically different kind of experience than the first 2 Outlast games. While Outlast 1 and 2 were entirely solo experiences, the Outlast Trials can be played with up to 3 other players. I'm really curious to see how this franchise will translate to a multiplayer experience. Outlast is genuinely one of the most intense and stressful games I've ever played, but I can't help but wonder if it will lose a lot of its scariness if you're playing with other people. It's just so much harder to build atmosphere and tension when you're playing a game with friends. Dokkai V is a new game from Pearl Abyss, the team best known for their MMO, Black Desert Online. Dokkai V, however, could not look more different to Black Desert. In fact, it looks unlike anything else I've ever seen. If you haven't seen Dokkai V's Gamescom trailer, I implore you to go watch it, because it's truly one of the most insane trailers I've ever seen. Dokkai V almost looks like what you'd get if you mashed Pokemon, Splatoon, and Monster Hunter together, then gave it a chibi art style and some of the most absurdly beautiful environments ever seen in a game. Oh, and did I mention that the characters rollerblade, skateboard, and glide around on umbrellas to traverse the map? It's clear Dokkai V is still unfinished, as there were some pretty noticeable frame rate issues seen in the trailer, and I honestly have no idea what the hell this game even is, or if its weird mishmash of ideas will even blend together into something coherent. But this trailer certainly grabbed my attention and made me want to play it. Next up was a new trailer for Park Builder sequel, Jurassic World Evolution 2. The first Jurassic World Evolution was met with pretty mixed reviews, but it really seemed to find an audience over time. This trailer gave us our first look at the sequel's gameplay, as well as a release date of November 9th. This isn't really my kind of game, but I hope that Frontier can take the lessons they learned from the first game and make the sequel a more refined and polished experience for all of the Park Builder fans. Ubisoft's other trailer of the night, following Riders Republic earlier in the show, was a new story trailer for Far Cry 6. And I have the exact same problem with this trailer as the one for Riders Republic. Well, this was a fun trailer that did a good job of showcasing Far Cry's crazy weapons and absurd action, as well as establishing the menacing presence of Giancarlo Esposito's Anton Castile. I didn't need to see this trailer. At this point, I've seen so many trailers for Far Cry 6, and I think Ubisoft are getting dangerously close to showing too much of it. Bloodhunt, the battle royale set in the Vampire the Masquerade universe, got another showing after being featured in Xbox's E3 showcase a few months back. This trailer gave us a better look at gameplay and the way you'll combine gunplay and mystical abilities. While I like the idea of a battle royale where you're using vampiric abilities to get the better of enemies, I don't know if this game does enough to really stand out. At a glance, this does just look like another battle royale, and in a market with so many established and successful players like Fortnite, Apex Legends and Warzone, I can't help but feel like this game is going to struggle to find an audience. Park Beyond is a new park builder in the vein of Roller Coaster Tycoon, and it's coming from Limbic Entertainment, the team who most recently made Tropico 6. I think there's something very charming about the look of this game. It's got a cartoony art style, a silly tone, and some of the most ridiculous and creative looking rides I've ever seen. As I said before, I'm not a huge park builder guy, but I do have some fond memories of the early Roller Coaster Tycoon games, so I'd be open to giving this one a shot if it pans out well. A new trailer for Jett the Far Shore finally gave us a release date for the game, which is the 6th of October. If you haven't been following Jett, it's a space exploration game where you're playing as pacifist explorers who are scanning and chronicling all sorts of planets, flora and fauna, while doing everything within their power to avoid harming or disrupting indigenous life forms. Jett has a great art style and seems like it could be a very relaxing and almost meditative experience. Following Jett was another release date we've been waiting on for a long time. After originally being slated for later this year, we now know that Horizon Forbidden West will be launching on the 18th of February, and now the first chunk of 2021 is really starting to fill in and get packed with games. I cannot wait for Forbidden West. I adored the first Horizon, and Forbidden West is easily one of my most anticipated games of 2022. As a fun little bonus, a PS5 patch for Horizon Zero Dawn was also released that boosts the game to 60 frames per second. This will no doubt make the wait for Forbidden West a little easier. I guess it might finally be time for me to double back to Zero Dawn for the New Game Plus trophies. After a successful beta last month, Amazon's upcoming MMO, New World, had a new trailer shown. This is by far the most ambitious Amazon Games project yet, and I'm sure its success or failure will be a huge factor for how heavily invested Amazon remain in the gaming space. But with the beta hitting over 200,000 concurrent players and pre-order numbers seeming strong, things are looking good for New World. It's also worth keeping in mind that New World is a one-time purchase with no subscription fee, something that could give it a leg up over other MMOs. At the very least, Amazon seem like they're going all in on New World, as they've said that they're completely committed to making this a living, breathing world that players will return to for years to come. Marvel Future Revolution is a mobile action RPG, and at Opening Night Live, we got a CGI trailer for it, right before it released. Marvel Future Revolution has a similar vibe to Marvel Ultimate Alliance or Marvel Heroes, RIP. So if you're looking to just smash away at waves of enemies and level up your favourite heroes, this could be the game for you. I also think that Future Revolution has some really strong character designs. I'm not usually a mobile game person, but I did give this one a download, and I've had fun with the couple of hours I've put into it so far. Next, we got a Tales themed section that, if I'm being honest, felt like it was just here to pay the bills. This chunk of the showcase kicked off with a musical performance with world-renowned violinist Lindsey Sterling performing a song from the upcoming Tales of Arise. We then saw an animated trailer for a new Tales mobile game called Tales of Luminaria. This was a very weird trailer that told us basically nothing about the game. All we really got was a brief look at a couple of its characters. The Tales section then closed out with a trailer for the demo of Tales of Arise that's already out. Don't get me wrong, I love the Tales series, but this was a weird inclusion. But hey, I get it, this kind of show is expensive to put on, so you're going to have things like this thrown in to make it feasible. Speaking of weird inclusions, next we saw a trailer for a new Jumanji game. This 4-player game sees you playing the board game from the original movie. I've got to be honest, this game looks rough. I really don't like the art style, and I was genuinely shocked when the platforms listed at the end of the trailer were PC and Switch, because this absolutely looks like a mobile game. A new story trailer for Lost Judgment was shown, and in fact, it was actually just a snippet of a 7-minute long trailer that was released online at the same time. To be honest, I looked away during this trailer. We're only a few weeks out from Lost Judgment, and I feel like watching any more footage at this point almost feels like I'm spoiling parts of the game for myself when it's just around the corner. Another slightly bizarre inclusion was the reveal of Oberhasi, a new area in the game creation title Core, specifically for Deadmau5 listeners. This new space is an area for Deadmau5 fans to come together, and there will even be interactive concert experiences held in-game. I'm not into electronic music, but if you are, this is pretty damn cool. It's interesting to see a musician reach out to fans in a new way, and if it was a band I liked doing this, I'd definitely be into it. Following its astronomical launch last year, Fall Guys has continued to truck on, maintaining a solid player base, and at Opening Night Live, we got a look at a new in-game event. The King Louis event sees Jungle Book themed content making its way into Fall Guys, including skins of Mowgli, Baloo, and Shere Khan. Replaced, the stunning looking pixel art side-scroller set in a cyberpunk world that we saw at Xbox's E3 presentation showcased another trailer here. This game is just jaw-dropping. It's almost unbelievable how impressive Replaced looks. I love the way it combines its stellar pixel art with layered environments that give a great sense of depth to make the art style pop even more. I just hope Replaced's gameplay is as good as its flawless production values. Next, we got Xbox Game Studios' second showing of the night, with a new trailer for Age of Empires 4. This trailer was a blend of cinematics and gameplay. I thought this trailer was just okay, but I think that's mostly because it's just very difficult to make an exciting trailer for this kind of game. Hey, at least it wasn't a fucking documentary style video about trebuchets, like the one shown at Xbox's Gamescom showcase. And if you didn't catch the Xbox show, Yes, that's actually a thing that happened. Valheim, one of the biggest breakout successes of the year, is constantly continuing to grow and improve. And at Opening Night Live, we got a trailer for Valheim's first content update, the Hearth and Home expansion. This DLC is primarily focused on expanding Valheim's base building experience. This expansion was shown off with an unnecessary but highly appreciated animated trailer that was insanely beautiful. I guess this is the kind of trailer you can splash out on when your game sells 7 million copies in its first 2 months on the market. Crossfire is a first-person shooter that is astronomically popular in Asia, and now, thanks to Xbox, it's making its way to the West in the form of Crossfire X. This trailer was for the multiplayer portion of Crossfire X, and it showed off a sizable array of different maps. While Crossfire is best known as a multiplayer shooter, it's undeniably the single-player campaign that's being added to the game for Crossfire X that has me most excited, seeing as it's being developed by Remedy, the team behind Control, Alan Wake, and Max Payne. I've loved just about everything Remedy have ever worked on, so I have high hopes for this. Another inclusion that felt unabashedly just here to pay the bills was the World of Tanks section that was literally just a chunk of a music video for the band Sabaton intercut with some World of Tanks footage. I know World of Tanks is huge in Gamescom's native Europe, but this was still a clumsy and odd inclusion. Genshin Impact has seen colossal success so far, grossing over $1 billion in its first 6 months on the market, so it makes sense that the free-to-play action RPG is going to start seeing crossover events with other IP. The first of these crossovers is the introduction of Aloy from Horizon as a playable character, and the trailer shown at Opening Night Live gave us our first look at her in action. Aloy will be hitting the PlayStation versions of Genshin Impact on the 1st of September, and as a huge fan of Horizon Zero Dawn, I've got to admit this addition to the game has definitely made me interested in finally booting up Genshin Impact. The second to last trailer of the night was a new trailer for the incredible looking Sifu, a martial arts game where each time you die, the protagonist gets older. We've seen Sifu a few times over the past year, and with each new look, I've only gotten more excited. And now we finally have a release date for Sifu. Sifu will be launching on the 22nd of February 2022, adding to the already packed month that'll also see the release of King of Fighters 15, Horizon Forbidden West, Destiny 2's next expansion, Evil Dead the Game, and the Saints Row reboot. Opening Night Live closed out with a deep dive look at all the new content coming to Death Stranding in its upcoming Director's Cut. I really liked Death Stranding, but despite putting more than 40 hours into it, I got sidetracked and never actually finished the story, so I'm excited to finally get back to it with the Director's Cut. It's impossible to predict what Kojima will do next, but even for Kojima, Death Stranding was a weird-ass game, and it's only getting more absurd with the Director's Cut, as it's adding a lot more crazy and unexpected content to the game. Among Death Stranding Director's Cut's new additions are new delivery support items, including a jetpack, a cargo catapult, and the robotic companion BuddyBot, who can carry cargo as well as Sam himself, new weapons including a laser gun, a firing range that has major Metal Gear Solid VR missions vibes, new music tracks, a racing mode called the Fragile Circuit, and the ability to replay boss battles. Most excitingly though, Death Stranding Director's Cut is adding new missions that'll continue to expand the story, and they feel very reminiscent of Metal Gear, which is sure to please all Kojima fans, myself included. This PS5 upgrade will also of course feature improved visuals and support for the DualSense's adaptive triggers and haptic feedback. It's clear that a ton of work has been put into this Director's Cut to ensure that it'll be the definitive way to play one of the most unique games ever made. And there you have it. That was everything showcased at Gamescom Opening Night Live for 2021. Maybe my expectations were lowered by Xbox's abysmal showing the day before, but I had a great time watching this showcase. This stream was mercifully free of long-winded interviews and trebuchet videos, and there was a nice mix of new game reveals and updates on games we've seen before. It was especially great to finally get release dates for games like Sifu, Horizon Forbidden West, and Halo Infinite. I also just love the way Jeff Keighley always manages to get Xbox, PlayStation, and often Nintendo first-party games shown in the same presentation. There were undeniably some issues with this showing though. There were several inclusions that felt out of place in this showcase. I hate that they hand out awards during this show for games that aren't even out yet, and the pacing did feel a little off, with the show being very front-loaded, with many of the night's biggest announcements happening right near the beginning. But this was still a very solid showcase, and I'd go as far as to say that it's the best opening night live we've seen yet. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, or leave a comment. You can find countless other videos on my channel, including my recent reviews of Death's Door and Scarlet Nexus. And be sure to stay tuned for my upcoming videos, where I'll be taking a look at the biggest games of September and reviewing Marvel's Avengers War for Wakanda DLC and Ghost of Tsushima's Iki Island expansion.